Okay, so today I'm gonna talk about getting jobs and how impossible it is to get a job nowadays because I don't think it's just me, but it really seems like there's something wrong with the economy, with just the job process in general, because nobody I know really has a job, let alone a good job. And I feel like that's not normal. I mean, all these young guys who have no real problems, who aren't criminals, who aren't like weirdos. They don't have jobs. I see so many like these young people, they don't have anything. And it's like, is this really normal? Like, there's gotta be some kind of problem. And, people talk about the economy, there's economic problems. I mean, that's a whole rabbit hole. I mean, the unemployment is like so high right now. Like in my city, it's insanely high where I live. So I don't know exactly what's causing all that. I mean, people say they understand what's happening. I think it's a little bit of illusion. I think it's a complicated situation. Who knows what we can't figure this stuff. Meanwhile, I've been in and out of jobs constantly, pretty much any place whatsoever. I'm not being picky, I'm not having high standards. I'm going everywhere. I'm going in person with my CV, my resume printed out. I'm going online, I'm posting, doing everything. So, there's no excuse from these boomers that are going to be like, you're not going in person, you're not doing it enough, or whatever they say, because at this point, like, I've done it so much. I've gotten some interviews, some prospects. The job market is just dog shit. Like, it's terrible. I mean, just the other day, I was getting an interview with this guy, this Indian guy at some place, and he was like, "What makes you think you can make a sandwich?" And I'm like, I mean, I make food at home. I've been making food all my life. I think I can learn quick. And the guy is just like freaking out on me. Like, he has anger issues or something because he starts bringing up, like, you people are lazy fucks. And like, he literally says insults and shit. Like, I don't even know what's happening. I'm like, at this point, I'm like, is this just what we have to live with? If we want to get a job, we will have to deal with these like people insulting us to our face and freaking out with for no reason whatsoever. Plus, the place was dirty. I mean, he didn't accept me. I didn't even get the job. But I also had to endure this like weird situation for some reason, and that's only one story. There was many of these strange experiences. So not only do you not get jobs, not only do they not call you, but if they call you, it's basically just to embarrass you, waste your time. So I mean, it's hard to have hope. It's hard to not be pessimistic, and there's people in the media that are always asking like, why are young people pessimistic? Why are they like this? Why do they have mental problems? Why do they are they anxious? Why do they have all these issues? And it's really not complicated. I mean, if you live it, if you have an experience as a young person and in this society, I mean, to you there's nothing surprising about that because your daily life is just disappointment and false promises and loneliness, just being put down by the people around you, being alienated from your fellow man, having your family just treat you like crap because they think you're lazy or they think you're stupid. Every boomer, if there's these guys are around your parents, maybe all these boomers are gonna be like, you're lazy, you're stupid, young people, blah blah blah. They're gonna say all these things because they don't understand that things are legitimately harder. It's not as easy as they had it. These guys, these boomers, they went to a store and they got a job with like a bucket of shit and a firm handshake, and they think we can do the same for some reason. Buddy, a lot of the world changed. Like, the world isn't the same. We can just pull up at a place and walk around and pretend like we own the place. Like, these guys think the world is still like some easy cakewalk. Nowadays, people are struggling. I mean, you're going for a job, you're competing with basically the entire planet. You're competing with people that are willing to do anything. And after like an hour, there's already like 500 people that have sent their applications. Of course, it's gonna be way harder than usual. Nobody recognizes that. We don't get support for that. We only get like pressure. We only get like reproaches. We don't actually get support. We don't actually get even some understanding or some sympathy. Like, it's only like insults and demeaning, and none of that is helpful at the end of the day. If they really wanted to be helpful, they would maybe give you contacts or help you with your pursuits or anything, but that's just not the boomer mindset. That's not what they do nowadays. They throw you to the wolves, and they tell you to pick yourself up by bootstraps and work harder and get it together, buddy, get it together, all this BS. Of course, they didn't have to do that. They think they had to do that. But in reality, they had it easy. All they had to do was basically ask, and the world gave them everything. And nowadays, I mean, people, let alone a job, I mean, imagine more than that. I mean, imagine a relationship, imagine an actual friendship, something healthy, not something online or some kind of weird, person that as soon as you stop calling them, they're going to forget about you, real friendships, real relationships. You basically have no chance for that, anyways. I mean, let alone getting a job. Getting a job is already hard. You need a job pretty much to be able to socialize because of the price of everything, because you need to have a certain level of social class, and you have to be able to put up a certain image. People are judgmental, so you already need to be have some a level of success to deal with certain people, but engage with socialization. But even then, good luck finding people that appreciate you, because everybody's brain rotted, everybody has mental problems. If you're young, pretty much everybody has issues. People don't know how to be humans anymore. People just, they grew up in this world where they were 2 years old, or they were like 6 years old or something, and their parents didn't care about them, and they just gave them an iPad, and they started playing Candy Crush for 10 years straight, and it destroyed their brains. And people are surprised why nobody can socialize, why people can't deal with other humans, when basically the society did this weird psychological experiment on an entire generation, and they act like nothing happened, like we should just get up like it's nothing, go and explore the world. It's like, buddy, we got basically handicapped from the start. And not only that, but now we're living in an environment where things are unusually difficult. But none of this is ever understood. This is the main frustration with all of this, is that none of this is acknowledged. None of this is understood or sympathized with. And it's not because they're necessarily stupid, or even because they're not aware. I mean, they're not aware, and a lot of them are stupid maybe. Their main reason is because if they acknowledge this, it means that they actually have to put in work. It means that they actually have to make some kind of sacrifice, even if it's just time and energy. That means that they're gonna have to make some sacrifice in the favor of young people, in the favor of the people that they kind of screwed over. And they just don't want to do that. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to put in any effort. They just want to, enjoy their time. Especially, old people, they get selfish when they get older for some reason. I'm not the only one who's noticed this, but for some reason, when people get older, they just like, which is ironic because they get close to the grave. You would think they would get kinder and try to help people before they go before God or something, but they don't care. They get selfish. They get resentful towards people, even their own family, especially their own family, and they never help them. So they don't want to put in that work. They unironically don't want to put in that work. They don't want to do their part, because they were supposed to raise the next generation correctly. They were supposed to set up the world so that it was at least as easy as it was for them, or even easier, or at least give us some kind of opportunities. But they didn't do any of that, and now they want to just put it under the rug, pretend like none of this ever happened, want to go back to their easy lives, and they have all the money, they have a house, they don't really have much to worry about. They go on vacation. They don't want to have to deal with all these social problems, having to, raise the next generation, maybe make sacrifices in their pensions, or in their money, or in their time, having to, go give some help, some guidance, or even just try to, be a little bit more looking looking for the interests of the people that they were supposed to raise, their own children. They just don't really care. They don't even want to take a certain hit to their reputation. They want to look like a good person that's kind to the world and whatever. They don't want to. They just want to be, popular and kind of feel good about themselves, but they don't actually want to invest themselves and make any kind of sacrifice whatsoever. If it even if it helps, the people, their children, their own children. I mean, people hate their own children. It's just abnormal. And you know, people complain about boomers all the time for a reason. It's because they see them like this. Their parents are like this. You know, they see it every day. They've seen it their whole life. You can't ignore it because this is how they act. This is how maybe your parents treated you growing up, and now they get mad at you because you're not amazing, because you're not a doctor, you're not a surgeon. It's like they didn't. It's like, did you put in any effort into me? Did you actually help me, or did you just ignore me this whole time? And now you're for some reason angry because the kid that you neglected isn't perfect. It's like there's just no self-awareness here. There's just nothing. They just deny your humanity, and they just pretend like they're always right about everything, and you know, pretend like your struggles are fake. And there's just so much frustration that comes from that because you know, this whole getting jobs, it's supposed to not be this hard. I mean, it's supposed to be the beginning of your life. Some of these people go to university, they study, you know, they put in a lot of effort. You know, some of these people, they search for jobs for so long and they get nothing. And if they do get a job, it's a job that sucks or something like that. And it's just abnormal. I mean, it shouldn't be this hard. There's like this there's we somehow been convinced that it's supposed to be this hard, but this isn't supposed to be the difficulty of life. You know, getting the job isn't supposed to necessarily be the difficulty, let alone actually doing the job itself. You're just looking for a job and it's already a nightmare. So, you know, all of this is a complaint, but I think it's warranted. I think we have to do something. Otherwise, nothing is gonna change. I mean, what else is there except our voice? We don't have anything else. We don't have power. We don't have money. All we can do is complain and hope that maybe it does something. Maybe one day we'll be able to do something, but for now, I mean, I don't know. I'm just struggling like everybody else. I'm trying to get a job. I'm looking everywhere because construction. I went around looking, but there's certain, you know, policies that make it difficult to enter the market. You know, with someone that doesn't have like great skills or any kind of high diploma or any kind of qualification, pretty much, it becomes really hard and you can't get even anything. And so it's difficult, but you know, I'm still trying. I'm still looking for it, trying to figure it out. But at the end of the day, I mean, all you can do is just try to do it or search for it. But just all these, just how shitty things have become, how blatantly like functional the society is. It's just comical at this point. I mean, I prefer to just laugh about it, but it's frankly just sad because this is our lives. We were born into this, and now we have to just with it. I guess you know it is what it